Welcome to Capital A Trading. Welcome to a slightly different format. We're going to go through my top 10 picks for the week. So again, if you trade, if you take investments, check out the channel, check out the Forex weeklies out every Sunday where I go through the charts, look for the best top 10 investment opportunities, show them to you. So again, hit that subscribe button in the bottom right corner, stay up to date with the channel. There's going to be a lot of exciting content coming in the next couple of months, educational and of course the Forex weeklies. If you want to learn more, if you want to take your trading further, check out my website. That's www.capitalatrading.co.uk and you can find out tons of information in there. With that being said, let's get straight into the charts this week.
Okay, so as always, it's just important to check that fundamentals for the week, just to see where the charts are going to have to heavily be monitored to see where there may be impact in the charts. So again, there's three things that are going to stand out this week. Monday, not much. Tuesday, I'll be looking at the Australian dollar at the night time just to see how that goes with the AUDNZD trade that I'm currently in. And then it will be a bit about the pound. There's a little bit about the unemployment rate, 7 a.m. just before the London Open. Over to Wednesday, the focus will become on the CAD just before the New York Open. And of course, later that evening, the US dollar's interest rate decision. So again, 6 p.m. on Wednesday, expect to see some impact in the dollar. Over to Thursday, the focus switches to the pound. Again, they've got their interest rate decision at 12 o'clock, an hour before the New York Open. So again, I'll be definitely looking at the pound USD. Again, on Friday, 3 a.m. So to start the day, there'll be some focus on the yen around their interest rate decision. So with that, let's get straight into the charts. The first one I want to talk about this week is gold. Now, first of all, I want you to be aware that this is like a safe haven. So when times of uncertainty are going on in the world, this is where a lot of the big investors come to place their money. Hence the reason for the last 2 months, it's been rising to the upside. It's come to an area that's very interesting around the 2060 point. It's basically hit this level before on the 3rd of August last year and dropped down, and it's back at the same level. So all I would suggest is just watching out to see if it's going to struggle, to see if there's going to be a massive sell push to the downside. I'm looking at this blue candle. I like the way the body has come into this area, stuck, showed some rejection last week. So basically price rose up to there, got absorbed, and now that could clear the way for price to head to the downside. There's an untouched gap around the 1650 level. That would be a ginormous trade. So again, just keep an eye on that area. Let's see if price is going to reject and start heading to the downside. I am very wary of this because of the safe haven, like I just mentioned. If the big investors want this to keep rising, I believe that would be classed as an all-time high on gold, all the way up here around the 2100 mark. So again, just keep an eye on that one. Be aware of this area. Let's see how it plays out at the start of the week. That was gold. The next one is going to be the US 30. I've been following this for a little while now. I mentioned that sell around the 36,200 mark. We have progressed away very nicely. Also, for those who know, this is now going to be classed as a massive structure break on the weekly here. So price has broken up that bullish structure. From what I know about that, it means price should retest around one of these areas, around the 3,500, maybe the 3,600, and then we're going to get a monstrous move to the downside. That's going to be the US 30. Again, just be aware of this area. This is kind of the scenario I'm going to be looking at. I just want to see price reject and then start to head to the downside. That's the US 30. The last one in this section, again, for those of you who follow me, is the UK 100. I have been talking about this area for about a year now. Now, basically what's happened is it's been here, it's been struggling, it's been showing signs of wanting to go down. And now we've got our first massive clue. The structure's broken. So basically the bulls are in control. As you can see, the bear candles not really fighting back with any energy. Then all of a sudden, we've now had price from this point be able to be flushed down lower than where the last bulls were in control. So basically looking at that now, from what I know, again, price will have to come back up, retest the area where they set the manipulation, and then continue with their move to the downside. I'm going to be watching this big blue candle here around the 7,400, 7,500. I just want to see price get back up. Show me the signs of struggling. Hopefully then we can see price flush to the downside. That's going to be the UK 100. Okay, before we get into the currencies, this is for anyone who wants to take their trading further. Do head over to my website. That's capitalatrading.co.uk. Head over to the services section where you can check out the packages and find out anything that's available to you. You can check out the pre-recorded videos, the mentorship program, or the Capital A community. If you want to set up a consultation call with me, that's totally free. We can have a 30-minute conversation via Zoom to find out what the best options for you will be. Okay, let's get into the currencies. I'm going to start with some trades that were mentioned recently, just kind of give them a little update to see how they're getting on now. One of the main focuses for the week will be this AUDNZD. For those of you who've been following, I mentioned the sell from here recently. It's gone off very well, and I'm now monitoring the retest where I believe they're setting up another position. If you haven't already, do check out that video that is solely on the AUDNZD. As I break it down a little bit more, I just want to speak about what I saw, how price was manipulated here. It came down. They returned back to that area. As you can see, they touch into it there. And then they moved down again, creating a whole new area, coming back, touching into it. So this was the area I wanted to see. I wanted to see them come back, touch into here. They've been doing that all week, struggling. And I believe we're going to see a massive move to the downside at some point. I just want to see this area stay respected. So again, just keep an eye on that for the start of the week. I believe we're going to start to see price tanking away. That's the AUDNZD. Do check out that video I mentioned. The next up is going to be the CAD Swiss franc. Now, this has gone into an interesting area. First of all, I want to talk about the 73 level and how I was mentioning all these sells from here. And as you can see, we've had some monstrous moves to the downside. Now, what I want you to understand happens in that period, in that time, is that a lot of traders jump on, they get into this market, into this position, and they start to place their stop losses in what is a safe area, so they believe. And that's what these pound signs are sort of signaling. There's a lot of money in this area. Now, on Friday, weirdly enough, price jumps up into the area, takes out the area. So now I know the market makers have definitely done something inside this candle. So basically, all I'm looking for is to see price reverse. They've obviously reached up into here for a reason. And it's going to be basically the 73,400 to the 73,600. I just want to see price respect there. And then hopefully we can start to see a massive move to the downside now with all them stop losses, all that liquidity that's been grabbed. That's going to be the CAD Swiss franc. Do keep an eye on that at the start of the week. Again, very similar to what we've been speaking about. It's the USD Swiss franc. Again, some trades that I've mentioned recently, been very successful in here. And now price has come back to what I would call the order block area. So as you can see, there's been plenty of moves from this point, and I'm just looking to see if it's basically going to do it again. Now, very similar to what I just spoke about, there is going to be tons of money building up in this area above where all the drops have come from on the chart. And I'll be watching the 94 to just see if this area does get dipped into and what it's going to do next. So maybe the 94, 500, just give it a bit of space to breathe. That's going to be the USD Swiss franc. I'm going to go through my week's top 10. This is going to be one of the main ones, the NZD USD. Now, first of all, I want to speak about the monthly picture. I just want to speak about how you've got to understand this time frame before you can understand any of the lower ones. So here we are on the monthly. Price has been walking down from around that 74 mark. And now we've got a retest that looks like it's going to happen around the 70 level. So what I'm going to do now is break down the time frame and just look at this area here on the daily, where I believe the market makers have left their mark. They've left their position around that key number, the 7,000 mark. So I'm just looking to see price get up there, create the contract, show me the signs of struggling, maybe around a session candle time, maybe around the US dollars interest rate decision. And then hopefully we can see some strength. We can see a nice move to the downside. So keep an eye on this NZD USD around that 7,000 level. The next up is going to be the NZD CAD. Now, again, this one is the 88 mark. That's the level I'm looking at. Again, as I break it down, I just want to see price come back towards this level, or maybe around the 87,500 to the 88. We'll give it that bit of space to breathe. I believe we're going to see price struggle here again, and then there's a massive target to the downside, at least towards the 85 mark. So a nice 300, 350 pip move. Keep an eye on that one. That's going to be the NZD CAD. Next up is going to be the pound CAD. Now, something slightly different on this. I have got two areas. This is what I was looking for last week, around the 1.70 mark. Hasn't got to there. It continued to the downside. So if I just look at the structure now on a lower time frame, as you can see how it's been moving, I have got two areas I'm going to keep watch of here this week, but I just want to see if the trend's going to continue. Now, what I mean by that is quite simple. All I want to see is price come back up towards this level and then start to go down, making a new low. If it doesn't respect this area, I will keep an eye on that 170 for that little gap there, just to see if price respects that one. So I've got two options. Keep an open mind. Let's see which one plays out. That's the pound CAD. Okay, next up is going to be the pound yen. Again, keep an open mind on this. I've kind of got two options. So it's going to be about how the week starts and which way price is heading. Where does it look like it's sticking? Now, last week, I mentioned the buy around this 150,600 to the 151 mark. Price started to make its move up. It's gone up around 180 pips from that area. So a good move. And what I'm looking at is to see it continue. I want to see it hit this 154 level, hit into this candle here, and then start to continue with its movement to the downside. This time coming in and hitting where my red line is, and then hopefully we can see a powerful buy to the upside. So again, I've kind of got two options. If this one doesn't get to there and then just comes down, then I'd focus just on the buy. Hopefully we can look at both moves and see them both play out. So I just want to see it hit there and then get to that red line. That would be a good week on the pound yen. Keep an eye out for that. Next up will be the USD CAD. Very interesting trade. It's going to be one of the main focuses for the week. Again, I just want to talk about the history of what's been going on here. There's been lots of sells from around the 128 mark. The area got raided. For those of you who understand how stop losses are building up and how liquidity is building up, the area got raided. It got re-raided last week. It looks like price just came to the 129 level on this daily area here and started to make its move to the downside. So as I break down this time frame now, I just want to see price get back up towards the 128,400. Let's give it to the 128,700. I just want to see price get there, possibly interact with this blue candle, and then continue with its move to the downside, target wise at least towards the 126 level. So keep an eye on that one. That's going to be the USD CAD. Next up, the euro pound. Now again, this has got back into an interesting area. For those of you who follow me, you'll know I've been annihilating this for almost a year now. What I'm looking at is the 84 level. Price has come up into it, hit into this candle here, the blue one, around about the 84. Let's give it to the 84,400 again, give it that bit of space to breathe. As I break it down, I just want to see price get back up there. Show me a similar sign like this. Show me a wiki candle where I know the market makers have stepped in and absorbed all the buying pressure. And then hopefully we can see that move to the downside. Again, remember, we've got the pound's interest rate decision. If that's lining up at that time, even better. Keep an eye on that one. It's going to be the euro pound. Next up is going to be the Swiss franc yen, the two safe haven currencies. Now, again, the only reason I'm looking at what I'm looking at this week is because the yen's got its interest rate decision. So here I am on the daily. There's a market gap right in the middle of the 126. Again, I'll give it that bit of space to breathe, 126 to the 126,500. All I want to see this week is price come up into the gap, start to create that contract, start to show me that you're respecting this area. And then I'll be happy, of course, for Friday to see the yen gain its strength. And hopefully we can see a nice move to the downside. Again, target-wise, at least to the 124,500. Anything more would be a bonus. That's the Swiss franc yen. Next up is going to be the pound USD. Now, again, these two currencies have got their interest rate decisions this week. All I wanted to really talk about is this weekly picture. Price has come back to an area where it looks like there's been a sell to buy. It looks like price could struggle. And there's a couple of areas I want to talk about. The 130 level, that's the key number. I just want to see if we're going to get a reaction there. But of course, this has got a lot of space to breathe. We're on a higher time frame. So I'd say just keep an eye on the 129 to the 130. You want to see that contract be created there. And then hopefully, if the pound does gain its strength, we can see price start to rise back up, at least towards where there's been this sort of little block of price action around the 133. So a nice 300, possibly 400 pip move. Keep an eye on that one. It's going to be the pound USD.
Thanks for watching. Again, guys, if you enjoyed that, hit the thumbs up. If you didn't like it, hit the dislike, leave a comment. Let me know how you feel it can be improved. Again, if you want to take your trading further, check out my website. That's www.capitalatrading.co.uk. And if you want access to the Discord, if you haven't got that already, send me an email to capitalatrading@hotmail.com. Again, thank you for watching. Have a great trading week.